It doesn't get better than Megyn Kelly. Her show, The Megyn Kelly Show, you can find on YouTube podcast and on SiriusXM in the United States. She is an absolute rock star, and it's so cool to get the chance to talk to her each and every week, talk about a straight shooter, and she does not miss about Joe Biden wandering around the White House in a crowded room of people who didn't want to talk to him.
Oh, my gosh. So can I just say, before we get to the wandering Joe, Barack Obama, they bring him in, like this is the attempt, obviously, to boost the poll numbers, bring in who they think is just the mega star, who's, his glow is going to rub off on Joe Biden and the poll numbers are going to go up maybe 5-10 points. It reminded me, Paul, like a month ago, the doctor told me I needed B12 and he said, just get a shot because that's easy. I'm like, okay. So I went and I got a B12 shot. And you know what? I went from feeling kind of tired. I was like, boom, ready to go. I'm like, I love B12. Look at me. I'm like a new version of myself. I'm bigger. I'm bolder. I'm better. And Barack Obama was meant to be Joe Biden's B12. They're like, bring him in. He's going to boost him up. And they forgot about the real dynamic with Joe Biden, which is there is no boosting him up anymore. He's crossed over. He's crossed over to the other side, unboostable. And instead, what we had was a situation that almost looked like elder abuse. It was elder emotional abuse, right? It was so mean. To me, he seems like a guy who thinks Biden is arrogant and he doesn't have it in him to subjugate himself to this arrogant guy who wants to pretend he's now above me, even for a day, even for an hour in front of the cameras, because it will make the Democrats do better. Barack Obama didn't have it in him. I mean, he had no grace. Really, he showed up there. He was clearly brought in to make Biden do better and look better. And he did exactly the opposite. He got up behind that microphone. All he could say was, I, me, my. It wasn't about Joe Biden at all. And he did his stupid little joke of like, first Biden introduced himself as Barack Obama, I'm Vice President Joe Biden, and to President Obama as president. And then it's one thing to do that to yourself, but then Obama did it too. Oh, I want to say hello to my vice president. It's like, that's annoying. He's president now. Just like show him some deference. Be graceful for 2 minutes in front of the cameras. And then you see all these Democrats' true colors, like Nancy Pelosi clearly wanted nothing to do with President Biden. And where like, he literally starts looking just at the drape, at the curtain. Oh. And remember, that's the worst. No one will talk to him. And literally right next to him is Barack Obama, surrounded by all these fawning people, like the prom king, with all of the young gals around him. It was embarrassing. It was sad. It was botched. And if they wanted this to be his B12, I think it had the opposite effect.
Now, Megyn, of course, the cause of Black Lives Matter is one that nobody's going to disagree with, but the organisation behind it stinks. This is an organisation that got millions of dollars in donations, and now we're learning that yet again they're spending it on million-dollar properties.
So I think the headline is that Black Lives Matter may be in the midst of collapsing. The Indiana Attorney General said the house of cards is falling. They've now had their charitable status revoked in at least 8 states. At least 2 more states are considering personal liability criminal charges potentially. And so they're in a lot of trouble for their mismanagement of funds, their failure to disclose, their refusal to say who's running the organization. It was originally these 3 women, including Patrisse Cullors. And Patrisse Cullors is the one who was outed by the New York Post as having spent, I think, $3.1 million on personal housing. Not entirely clear exactly where those monies came from. BLM is in the process of imploding. This organization was not well run, it was not transparent, and it has all the hallmarks of a fraudulently operated, quote, charity. In any other administration, they'd already have been shut down and they'd be on the front page of the Washington Post. It's because of their alleged mission and because it's under the Biden administration that they haven't been.
And just finally, the New York mayor was supposed to be a brand new, fresh broom, better than that idiot de Blasio, but he is now fighting for continuing mask mandates on kids under the age of 5.
This is disgusting, and it shows his heart is in it. His heart is in the masking of 2-year-olds. He's not just going along. His feckless, weak-kneed, director of health services recommended the masking of children age 2 to 5, mandatory masking. And then a parent who's also a lawyer filed a lawsuit saying, you don't have the powers to do that. Your emergency powers ran out. You don't have the power. And he won. He won at the trial court level. Eric Adams could have said, we're not going to appeal. I tried, and I kind of did the wink and a nod. No, he means it. He filed an appeal. Right now, the mask mandate is back in place as a result of the appellate court action. And when this lawyer, this dad/lawyer, sent out a tweet to the health secretary, to Eric Adams saying, like, this is BS, it's wrong, the guy blocked him. Blocked him. He doesn't have the you-know-what to even just take a couple of rhetorical slaps in the face, which, by the way, were very mild, and deal with the parents whose lives he's affecting, who are standing up for their children, for their 2-year-olds. And then the worst part, here's the worst part. They say, kids are resilient. They're resilient. This dad came on my show, this dad/lawyer, and he said, you know what? I used to be a sex crimes prosecutor. I used to go after the bad guys who hurt young children. And the one thing I learned is the child may not ever complain about it, even an act as ghastly as that. It doesn't mean they're not hurting. They can't verbalize what they're going through. It doesn't mean they're not going through anything. This is abusive. It's disgusting. And I can't wait until they throw these people out of office to punish them for what they're doing to our kids.
She is awesome. Megyn Kelly, the only way to see her on Aussie TV is to keep watching Paul Murray Live.